And we're live here in Nourish, Heal, and Thrive. I'm really excited. We have Dr. Hans here with us, and he's going to share all about the different things that he does. And it's some really amazing stuff. So, Dr. Hans, thank you for being here and sharing with us today.
And thank you, Derek, for having me. I'm really honored. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so why don't we start off by just you can share who you are and where you're from and what you do.
Yeah, so I grew up in Ireland and left Ireland in the early 80s in a career in the sciences, specifically doing structural biology, and ended up in San Diego uh, at a startup that was using the technology I trained in to inform the drug discovery process. And then in 2009, I transitioned into the world of wellness and prevention with an early retirement from, at that stage, it was Pfizer that we were part of, and have been preaching the world of eat right, keep fit, play with your friends, and sleep tight, and you likely will live long and die quick. So not necessarily rocket science, but simple, but not necessarily easy to do. So
Yeah, but that sounds amazing. I mean, how did you transition from what you were doing into that?
it was actually an MD PhD friend who had turned me on to the world of direct sales, and in that direct sales, a company that was using Ayurvedic principles to formulate their products, and I thought that was really awesome. Not only the business of direct sales, but also just the whole education around, the whole is greater than the sum of its part, and a holistic approach to wellness, mind, body, spirit wellness that's sort of implied in the traditional medicine approaches like Ayurveda, which actually predates traditional Chinese medicine. And yeah, I really enjoyed that, and sort of, you know, still I'm grateful for that friend turning up at the right time to point me in a different direction. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there's always something that takes us to the direction we're supposed to go to. So have you been kind of leaning that direction even before?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm an X-ray crystallographer by training, so my training sort of gave me a particularly philosophical materialist outlook on life. So all of the woo-woo uh, was not part of my day-to-day work. Um,
Right.
uh, Moving then, I would say, from the treatment and cure side of the coin of life to the wellness and prevention side of the coin of life. That was a transition that I enjoyed, but probably would not have happened if I had not taken early retirement from Pfizer, or might have happened later. Yeah. So, and like yourself, Derek, we spent now quite a long time in the world of wellness, and we understand how difficult that business is, because human behavior sort of works against us, really. And it's not blaming anyone. It's just the way of life. We're all immortal till we die, and healthy till we're sick. So why fix it if it ain't broke?
Right.
My point is, if it ain't broke, don't break it.
It ain't break, don't break. Yeah. But what
Because
about the people that are broken but don't realize they're broken or don't know what to do?
it's a journey, isn't it, for them? You pray and you hope that they will have an epiphany before the stuff really hits the health fan or the sick fan. But I think all we can do, and it's really how the Healthy Neighborhoods Project came about, the mission of it is just to be a force for good health throughout our neighborhoods by empowering people with awareness. Because once you
Mm.
make them aware, to the extent that it means something, now you've given them a choice. I also joke, even God doesn't have time to convince. That's why he gave us free will. My job is not to
Right.
convince you. My job and my
Right.
obligation is to create the awareness that gives you that choice. And a perfectly valid choice is do nothing. Just keep on
Yeah.
going the way you're going. You know. And if
Yeah.
it does break,
So
then I can say, well, I told you so. Not that that really helps in any way, you know.
right.
But
Right. Yeah, some people need to go that direction in order to really make a change, right?
there is a I think it again it comes back to human psychology and behavior. One of my bosses, whose father was a physician back in Prague, had a sort of a modified comment of Oliver Wendell Holmes' comment, which is the best gift you can give a young person is to recover from a near-death experience with a life-threatening, socially acceptable disease early in life. Because
Huh.
then and only then will they understand how fragile that is.
Right. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Up until then, up until it's broken, we don't really, you know, if everything is so-called fine, what's the reason for us to do anything else?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, most of us, or not most of us, like 80 or 90% of us who are not eating right, you know, we go through life redefining our level of fine. It's like that. Have you ever heard the story about how to boil a frog?
Never heard it now.
So if you chuck a frog into boiling water, it'll jump out. But if you start the water cold and slowly turn on the heat, by the time the frog realizes that it's not a good place to be, it's too late.
Uh,
And that's what happens to a lot of us. By the time we realize that our lifestyles are killing us, it's too late, unfortunately. I mean, it's like a friend of mine who had came back from a um, a wonderful vacation in Italy, arrived back in Heathrow Airport, and had a heart attack. And when he was recovering from his heart attack and his children were in the room, the cardiologist turned to the children and says, just a point, that heart attack did not happen yesterday. It happened for the last many years of your father's life. So take note.
yeah. Yeah. So what are people doing maybe wrong right now that they could be doing right, or maybe suggestions for some healthier
You
living,
know,
better
Derek,
eating choices?
it is, you know, it really is as simple. And of course, you'd have to dig deeper to define what eating right is, but you eat right and you keep fit. That, I mean,
Mm.
I hate exercise, but the motion is the lotion. You'll hear more and more and more about, you know, the benefits of just moving 10,000 steps a day, you know, 30 minutes of movement per day.
Yeah.
And then sleep. If you don't get into a certain level or certain, I think, NREM2 sleep during the night, your brain does not have time to take out the garbage, the metabolic waste of the day.
Right.
Can you imagine if you never cleaned up your kitchen and the garbage just kept piling up? Well, there are consequences to that. And play, I mean, community, we know this from you know how happy we are when we get to spend time with good friends. It raises the energy. It you know that's a health benefit, you know.
Mm.
So eat right, you keep fit, you sleep tight, you play with your friends, and you'll likely live long and die quick. Now, if you wanna objectively, like as a scientist, I I like to have objective measures of whether my lifestyle, the diet that I'm taking, and the supplements I may be using are giving me that protection I need for optimum health. And that's why for the last 14 years, I've used this device.
Oh, what is that?
It is called the Pharmanex Biophotonic Scanner, which uses the Nobel Prize winning science of Raman spectroscopy to shoot blue light into the fat pad of your hand, and in 30 seconds measures the color in your skin, the color, the vegetable and fruit color, using carotenoids as that measure. And those carotenoids can be called an integrated, or serve as an integrated health biomarker. Or another scientist proposed a carotenoid health index based on his analysis of serum carotenoid concentrations and actual clinical outcomes in humans, like bad stuff happening to your health. And he bins it into 5 different risk categories. And if you go to a doctor, they'll always talk about percentages. I mean, medical never gives you 100%. It's like, what are your risks? And so he binned it into a very high risk for stuff happening, high risk, low risk, medium risk, low risk, and very low risk. You want to be in the very low risk. It doesn't mean you're not going to die. It doesn't mean you're not going to get sick. But if you do get sick, you're probably going to likely recover on a more solid foundation of health. And the trajectory of your aging trajectory could be fun, die. You rectangularize that survival curve as late in life as possible.
Right. Yeah, that sounds amazing to me. How much is that device?
So you lease these devices, but actually this is coming to the end of its lifetime, because the 4th generation device, which will be the size of a puck, will be priced and sized to fit into everyone's pocket. So probably in the $200 to $300 range. So you have in your pocket a way to actively measure. Like when I measure myself, the score that the machine gives out is color coded: blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Yeah. Optimum, good, moderate, weak, poor, and very poor. I started in the red 14 years ago. And I took the shortcut, which is what my doctor had suggested 25 years ago or 30 years ago, is to take a good pharma grade supplement, a good multivitamin, multimineral phytonutrient supplement. And the company has the guts actually to give you a performance money back guarantee if you commit for 60 days on their scanner certified supplement that fits your pocket, to raise your score significantly, or you get your money back. And that's what I did. And I went from the red to green in those 60 days. And now I'm usually blue or beyond. And I keep my clients in the green to blue and beyond region. I do my best to keep them on the wagon, let's put it that way, because they get me to measure their score once a month if they're on the program, and they get that for free. Yeah. So
talk about your program a little bit. What kind of client comes to you, and what outcomes do they receive?
I mean, in general, it is people who are sort of ready to take control of their health. They want to know what they want to know objectively whether what they're doing is working. Many of them have taken supplements and they end up scoring not as good as they want to, and they take the 60-day challenge, and then, for the price of the supplement, they're also getting that support. It's important in the wellness world to have, like in your story, you got a healer. Yeah.
Right.
You didn't have somebody say, here, do this, go away, talk to me, like take 2 aspirin and come back to me in 2 weeks' time. You had somebody that was a partner. And in wellness, that is very important to have that partner that may not know everything, but has a connection to people that actually know things. And basically, they're your accountability, loving approval buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you'll do it for other people more than you'll do it for yourself.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? That we
Yeah.
do.
I mean, you just feel obliged. You don't want to be embarrassed when you say that you're going to do something and you then don't do it. But you've got to become accountable. So when I measure my people on a monthly basis, I'll know whether they're on the wagon or not. Because if the score goes down,
Right.
you know, they're not staying with the program, or something else is happening. Yeah.
Sure.
But mostly it's because, I ask them, so how much have you left? Oh, I've got 2 boxes left. Well, if you've got 2 boxes left and a box lasts you for 2 months and I saw you a month ago, well, then clearly you're not on the program, you know. So it's a
Mm,
way to keep people getting back on the wagon.
got it.
Now,
So
it's also what the medical industrial complex does not have time to do. Unless you're going concierge medicine and you're paying a concierge physician, $1,000 an hour,
yeah,
they don't have the time to do that. And that's unfortunate, but it's just
yeah,
the reality.
sure. So is it as easy as just taking the supplement, or is
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's just easy. I mean, that's the thing that influences the score is obviously, for me, my recommendation is always add color to your diet. Specifically the colored vegetables and fruits. Yeah. That should be the staple. Yeah. So that influences the score. Your lifestyle choices. Are you around lots of sun pollution or smoke exposure? Are you a smoker? Are you carrying also a lot of extra adipose tissue? Yeah. And then
yeah,
all your supplements that you are taking formulated to give you this kind of protection. So those are those 4 things that influence the score. So for me, in my mid 50s or late 50s, when I did my score, those were my choices. And it was highly, looking at changing my food, changing my habits, changing my lifestyle, repurposing or reshaping my body. Those were not easy things to do. They looked more like a Manhattan Project. If you know what the Manhattan Project is, it looked
yeah,
like a Manhattan Project. And because there's no pain to motivate me, they were unlikely to happen. While I may have wanted them to happen, my subconscious would say, get with the program, Hans, it ain't going to happen, you know. But taking the shortcut and knowing that I would get my money back, well, what do I have to lose?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I would say, even in the meantime, you know, our food is devolving. It is devolving. I mean, we are looking at growing food that's easy to grow because we have nearly 8.2 billion people. We blame the food industry, but hell, 8.2 billion people is a lot more than they were 100 years ago, when real food was real food, and our cattle were grass fed. Yeah. So get with the program. There is a need to implement good nutritional programs and supplements into the eat right category.
yeah,
And I've been doing it for 14 years, and every year my doctor says your blood work is exquisite and your regimen appears to be keeping you ageless. So, I'm an experimental scientist. So you know, I trust God, everyone else bring me data. you know, it doesn't, my grandmother used to say, never trust anyone who says, trust me.
yeah. Makes sense.
So,
Yeah. So I know we don't have a lot of time, but maybe you can share a little bit about your healthy neighborhood project that you mentioned.
so, so over the years of doing the work with this device, as you know, being a wellness advocate is not an easy thing to do, and to invite people to measure their health and to do something about it is not easy. But my neighbor helped me with some electrical problem, and he wouldn't take any money for it. So I said, well, maybe I'll give him in kind. I'll give him a complimentary measurement on the device for him and his family. And he mentioned, oh, the neighbor on the other side of the street also is a nutritionist. So I thought to myself, wow, we could have a healthy neighborhoods project. And that's how it came around.
Wow.
So the vision, you know, the vision of the project is just a world that's truly nourished in mind and body and spirit, because it is that holistic trilogy that keeps us healthy. And as I said before, the mission is to be a force for good health throughout our neighborhoods by empowering people with awareness, innovative solutions, and an enriching, uplifting environment. So we have a fireside chat every Saturday morning for the last 3.5 years, where we have a person talk to us about some aspect of mind, body, spirit wellness. And we record that, and then we make them available behind a subscription page on the healthyneighborhoodsproject.com website.
Beautiful.
And obviously the idea is to have that sort of ripple through, because people who feel like they resonate with the idea and the vision and the mission can go through a sort of a very simple accreditation program to run their own, to become their own chapter leader for their own little healthy neighborhoods project locally.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, very, very cool. I really love what you're doing, Hans. This is really, really amazing. Anything that you didn't get to share that you'd like to share?
I, I think we've covered the basics, Derek, and thank you for letting me share. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have you put in the links or in the comments here. I'm going to have you put some links, maybe to your Healthy Neighborhood Project or to your website, however, whatever you want to share.
So I'll put in the link. I think I put in the link already to the Healthy Neighborhoods Project. I also put a link to sort of the rough Excel spreadsheet speaker
Okay.
schedule, so you can go back and
Yeah,
look.
no, but I'm going to have you just stick around afterwards and
Okay.
I'll help you do that. So, but thank you for sharing with us. And if you're watching or listening and you connect with Dr. Hans and you want to find out more information, I'm going to have him put his links in the comments here of this post so you can get connected with him. And yeah, Hans, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Just live young, do good, prosper, and have fun.
Love it. Love it. All right. Thank you, Dr. Hans. Thanks everybody for watching. If you resonate with Dr. Hans, don't forget to check him out, check out his links. And if you like what we're doing here in Nourish, Heal, and Thrive, just comment interview in this post and we'll let you have the spotlight so you can share your gifts, share your wins, or even if you're struggling, we're going to give you the support you need. So thanks everybody, and we'll see you at the next one.